Hey guys, welcome back to Honkai Star Rail. In today's video, we are talking Jingliu versus Topaz and Numby and which one you might want to pull for, or you may want to skip both of them and save further on. But for free to play, we have very limited resources, so making a decision you're happy with is very important. Now, we're not going to be able to say, oh, Jingliu has better damage or Topaz has better damage, so go for this character. We don't have damage multipliers, we can't go that far, but in the dev live stream, we did get their skills revealed and how they will function. So free-to-play players, depending on what's in your account, this may drive your decision. Once again, if you just have a character you like more, for me, it's Topaz because you got Numby, which is just way too cool for me. That is the character I will be pulling for myself. I just like that style of play, but also her play style really suits my account and what I'm going for, so that is another consideration. But we're going to go through their abilities and how they work from the dev live stream. Now, if you missed the dev live stream, I'll leave a link in the description. There was a bunch of stuff in that, but also Pridewin on their side do have a really good summary of everything that was in it if you just want a quick read through of everything that happened in the dev live stream. But in this one, we're going to look at Jingliu and Topaz and Numby. Let's get into it. Okay, so over here on Pridewin, they did a wrap-up summary of the skills and the entire live stream, but we're just looking at the skills section here just as an easy way to go through the way she's going to work. So Jingliu, the basic functionality of her is that you're going to use her skill and ultimate are both going to generate her a syzygy stack. And based on the gameplay we saw in the dev live stream, once she reaches 2, that will proc her talent, which is going to change her state and cause it when she uses her skill. She can't use her basic anymore. She can only use her skill, and that skill is going to consume syzygy stacks and also consume all her allies' HP, but give her an attack increased based on the amount of HP she consumes. So I'm really curious to see numbers on all this stuff, but the basic way it looks like she's going to work is you're pretty much going to be using a skill and an ultimate to get her to change her form, and then you're going to use 2 skills at no skill point cost, and then she's going to go back to her normal form, at which state you want to use a skill and an ultimate or 2 skills to get her back into that form. So I think energy regeneration is going to be a very important thing, depending on, we'll have to wait and see, because the way I understand this is you also, her technique is going to give her a stack of syzygy when she jumps into battle. So you can jump in, you can do 1 stack of that, then use her skill, and then you change form. Then you got 2 skills. Once again, that's based on speculation from what we saw from her little indicator in the thing in the dev live stream. But then she's going to go ahead and use 2 skills that are going to consume HP of allies, get increased damage based on the consumed HP. And then when she uses those 2 skills, she's going to go back to normal, and then you're going to rinse and repeat. So energy regeneration, I think, is going to be a big thing for her to get her ultimate up faster, so that when she's in that different state and she's consuming her allies' HP and consuming syzygy to deal damage, those attacks will hopefully be able to generate her enough energy to get her ult close to a point of ready. And the way I just think about this is I would want her to be able to do her 2 syzygy skills, so 2 enhanced skills. Then when she comes out of it, hopefully by the time she uses her next normal skill to gain a stack of syzygy, that would get her to the energy where she can use her ultimate, and then she can gain her 2nd stack, and then she goes back into the enhanced form. So ideally, I'd love to see her be able to be played that you basically use 1 normal skill, and then 2 enhanced skills, 1 normal skill, 2 enhanced skills. That's the way I'm hoping you will be able to play her. So I don't know if energy regeneration is going to be a thing, but the big thing to note in her kit is the way she consumes her allies' HP. Now, obviously, this has synergies with Blade. So if you have Blade, this could be a really nice one. If you got Blade and Locha, that's going to be really nice too, because she's going to consume that HP. You're going to heal it back with Locha's Field. Blade's going to gain the extra stacks. It seems like she's just catered for that type of team where she can just slot in there. But on the other hand, because she does have the cleave capabilities with her enhanced skill and her ultimate, very similar to Danny Boy. I think Danny Boys may have higher. We'll have to see how exactly it works, because obviously Danny Boy, every turn he can be doing cleave damage, where with her, when you're using her normal skill, it is going to be single target, so you lose that cleave effect there. So I'm not sure on ramp up times and stuff like that, but based on this factor alone, you can probably be running her as a hyper carry using something like Bronya. I mean, Pella suits well as well, so you can probably run her as a hyper carry as well. So if you're looking for a hyper carry target, she's probably going to fit the bill as well. So the 3 main reasons I think Jingliu is worth saving for and pulling for are going to be 1, you just like the design. And I know there's a lot of people out there that just love Jingliu's design, which is a perfectly good reason to do it. Number 2 is if you're looking for another hyper carry. I think she will fill that slot. Maybe you skipped Danny Boy and went for Fu Xuan because you wanted some sustain. Now you're looking for a really strong hyper carry. Then she could definitely fill that slot depending on multipliers and damage output and stuff like that. But because she does have that cleave capabilities, I feel like she will be able to fill that role. Then the other one is if you have Blade, especially Blade Locha, I feel like she's going to have really good synergies. I don't know if that's going to be her best synergy, but it sounds like a really solid one that I can slap into my auto team with Blade Locha and go ahead and get that benefit. So that is Jingliu. That's her summary. Now let's jump over to Topaz and Numby. So the first thing I want to talk about with Topaz and Numby is the banners. So when we look at Jingliu banner, we have honestly some pretty good units in Tingyun and QQ. If you don't have those built, those are 2 great units to use. QQ for the damage dealing, probably one of the best damage dealing 4-stars, and then Tingyun, one of the best buffing 4-stars in the game. So really solid. You do have Sampo in there, which is more tech usage, normally being paired with Kafka or something like that, but it definitely is an option. But then we go on to Topaz and Numby, who is going to be the second banner, and we do have the new character, Gwynifin, I believe that it was the way they pronounced it. We've also got Luca, and then we've got Su Shang. Now, the Gwynifin is the big reason for me that this enhances the Topaz and Numby banner. Obviously, I still think you want to pull based on the 5-star that you think is going to benefit you more. But Gwynifin, we're not going to go deep into her in this video. I will cover her in another video. But she's going to have she's going to be a supportive type Nihility character where she can increase the damage that enemies take from all sources. But also she's going to have that burn and apply burns as well. So, you know, definitely one, I think she's going to pair super well with Kafka and stuff like that. So we'll have to see. But once again, I still recommend pulling based on the 5-stars. But, you know, that is just consideration if you are looking at the 4-stars. Okay, let's jump into Topaz and Numby skills now. This one, I really do like the way this works with follow-up attacks and stuff like that. So basically, her skill is going to apply the proof of debt state to an enemy. Now, I think this one, by looking at it, I really hope that it doesn't require effect hit rate because that would be just so crippling to trying to build her for that 1 debuff. And the way it reads that at the start of an ally's turn, if there are no enemies with proof of debt on the field, Topaz will cause a random enemy to enter proof of debt. I feel like with Topaz relying on this and this being so core, I don't think this is going to need effect hit rate to apply, or I really hope that it won't. But basically, her skill will apply that debuff. That debuff is going to increase the damage that enemy takes from follow-up attacks. In the stream, it was 25%. This could go up or down based on skills. We don't know, so we'll have to wait and see. Now, after she applies the proof of debt state, Numby is going to launch a follow-up attack to deal damage to that enemy. Now, this doesn't take Numby out of his turn order. It's just like an extra attack that counts as a follow-up attack. Now, when I talk about Numby, let's jump over into the talent. So Numby just comes in at the start of battle, kind of similar to Jingyuan, where it's on the turn order and different things will increase his advancement in the turn order. Now, at base, before we use the ultimate, when allies hit the enemy that is marked, with a follow-up attack, that will increase Numby's advancement in the turn order. Then after we use the ultimate is going to buff Numby's damage and crit damage. And then for a set number of Numby's turns, when an ally attacks the enemy with anything, whether it be normal attacks, skill, or ultimate attacks, those are all going to advance Numby. So Numby's going to get a set amount of turns where damage is increased, and those turns should come pretty quick because anything that allies do are going to make it advance. Now, this could be a thing of saving ultimates for it so that you can boost out those attacks quicker. We'll have to wait and see. So that is the basic kit. We've got a debuff that increases follow-up damage taken by a single enemy. And then we've got Numby, who's going to continuously launch follow-up attacks, which will have his turn order boosted by allies using follow-up attacks on the marked enemy, or after the ultimate is used by allies just attacking the marked enemy. And that is the basic gist of how the kit is going to work. Now, for me, I really like this, but there's one other thing that I haven't touched on, which is the technique. Now, it's one of those techniques that has benefit in Overworld, where if you enter combat with Numby using the technique and win the battle, you can get like some extra credits and stuff like that. So that is really cool for that little extra benefit. But the other thing, if you're starting a new account around this time or you're a new player, like she's going to be so helpful because Numby helps you sniff out the treasures in the world. But on top of that, Numby sniffs out the warp trotters in the world and stops them from running away. I think that's kind of a little cool thing. So that is the technique. Once again, Overworld usage, I think it's kind of cool. Extra extra credits if you're a daily farmer. Could be really nice. I don't do the daily farm anymore, so not too impactful on me, but it's just a nice little one that has a cool little effect. But let's talk about the playstyle of this. Now, she is a single target unit. All these things are single targets. Numby is single target. So the hyper carry capacity kind of falls out. Maybe you could get to the point where, you know, because Numby takes so many turns, maybe you can start doing quick clears with her as like a hyper carry. I'm not too sure. But in general, I think based on this kit, the way she's going to be played is to be paired with hopefully a follow-up attack user. When I look to the two main synergies that I think of, now you could talk about Blade and his follow-up attacks, but I think Blade's going to have more optimal synergies with like Locha, Jingliu, stuff like that. But the two main ones I think of with this is going to be Himiko and Clara. Now, I know Jingliu fans see anything that buffs his damage and would get excited about that. I mean, I'm the same with QQ. I'm tempted to put QQ with her for the follow-up attack damage, but that's way too copium for me. But with Jingliu, I'm not too sure if he has enough synergy for me. Like the 25% increased damage from his Lightning Lord is going to be nice. But the thing with this is I feel like you want to have synergy between the ally using enough follow-up attacks to help boost Numby, but also getting benefit out of that follow-up attack damage, if that makes sense. So I feel like it's a synergistic where you want her to benefit the ally and the ally to benefit her. And I think Himiko works well because obviously we got two fire units in that case. And, you know, Himiko can help clean up ads, also has that bit of follow-up attack tied into her. And then we can use Numby, Topaz and Numby to focus in on that single target damage. I feel like that's going to be a great synergy. Throw something like an Asta in that plus a sustain unit. I feel like you got a pretty good fire team going up against fire enemies in Memory of Chaos. Now, Clara is the other one because Clara with her enhanced revenge, it basically means she's going to do splash damage. So hopefully even if enemies adjacent to the marked enemy attack, then we can get that splash damage, which then makes them hit by a follow-up attack, which then procs the Numby's advancement forward. Plus, it's also going to increase that damage that Clara is going to deal, which is going to be really nice because it's pretty big damage anyway from Clara. So I think that's going to be a really good synergy, and that's the synergy I'm looking at playing with on my account because I personally am going for Topaz because I just think Numby is too cool. And Topaz plus Clara means that you've got Numby and Svarog. I like pet type characters. I mean, that's just me. I can't help it. That's cool. But anything with follow-up attacks, you could get some benefit out of this with. But the thing for me with Topaz is the two reasons for pulling her would be, well, three reasons. Obviously, the appearance. The other one is going to be the follow-up attack buffing for current characters that you have. Like I said, whether you want to use it with Jing, you can try that. I think Himiko, I think Clara, really good. But kind of similar to the reason, one of the reasons to pull Kafka was that you're pulling Kafka now. Yes, she gets some use, but if we get a future good dot character, 5-star dot character, then Kafka is really going to have her time to shine. Similar with Topaz and Numby, if we get a future 5-star that's like completely cracked on follow-up attacks, where not only do their follow-up attacks deal most of their damage, but also they use a lot of follow-up attacks, so you've got that hyper synergy between Topaz, meaning Numby's getting advanced forward all the time, and also the ally is getting significant increases based on that mark. That's when I think we have that great synergy and Topaz's true time to shine will come. So that's what I look at when I think about Topaz. Once again, that's the kid. I really like her look. So when you look at basic summary of Topaz and Numby versus Jingliu, obviously without just taking whoever's your favorite, because I think just pull for your favorite characters. That's the best way to do it for me. But I think if you're looking at it from your account standpoint, look at what you've got and what you want. If you're needing a hyper carry, then I think Jingliu's got the better chance. Maybe you skip someone like Dan and you went for Fu Xuan because you wanted that sustain. Now you're looking for a hyper carry. Jingliu is going to be a great option for that, in my opinion. We'll have to wait and see, obviously, on multipliers and all that stuff, but I think that would be the one that you set in your mind right now. Also, if you have Blade, especially if you've got Blade Locha, I think that's going to be a great synergy between them. Just slap, like, I prioritize auto a lot in this game. Blade Locha is great on auto. She just adds to their synergy and away you go. Happy days, clap some stuff. So I think she's going to be great for those two reasons. Then when we look to Topaz and Numby, and the two main reasons I see to pull for her are going to be because you want to make use of that follow-up attack synergy with one of the allies that you already have, or if you're pulling her for future usage, if we get a follow-up attack user in the future that she can then go ahead and benefit, similar to the reason of pulling Kafka back in the day. to hopefully get a good dot character in the future that will then bring her to light. So that is the summary. As always, guys, pull for whoever you like. Me personally, I'm gonna skip Jingliu and go for Topaz because, hey, just Numby's too cool. But let me know what you're doing. Let me know any other thoughts you guys have so far. As always, thanks for watching. Hope you have an awesome day, and I look forward to seeing the next one. Cheers.